Well, is there not opposition for me to tell this story? Absolutely. Kids, there's opposition every time you do something that you want to do that you think is positive. There's going to be somebody somewhere that's going to try to stop you from doing it. In my case, somebody was trying to stop Uncle Martin from finishing this great little story. Now, as I said in the past, I will not edit anything if you have not noticed already. So this mishap, I'm leaving it the way it is. And we'll just have this as episode 45 A and B. So on mountain lion tracks. So I believe where I left off on this little story was I told Mom I found a mountain lion track. And she said, yeah, right. And she kept playing, putting up the laundry, the sheets. We were looking, seeing that storm coming. Hopefully, it's going to go the other way. That was her concern. And I said, no, Mom, I really found a mountain lion track. She looked at me and said, are you telling me the truth? I said, yes, Mom, I am telling you the truth. I saw a mountain lion track. She says, I don't believe you. You don't believe me? You don't believe me, Mom? She says, and then she could see I was hurt. My feelings were hurt because I always told the truth. And if I got caught not, I got the black belt, which I know you kids never get the black belt because they don't do that anymore. So she actually, Mom never gave me the black belt. It was always Dad. I waited for Dad. And she said to me, if you're not, because she knew it was a half a mile away, and she still had laundry in the basket. And she said, if you're not telling me the truth, I will get the black belt. I guess Dad wasn't wearing it or something. But I said, Mom, I'm telling you the truth. She says, you got to show me then. I said, okay. Because she says, I'm not walking no half mile out to see some story that you got, because we were always trying to get, I think they went out there once, they saw it, bad, there's nothing, nothing big. So it was a nice little walk out there, kids, that's all I'm saying. Mom had things to do, but when I said it was a mountain lion track, she was now concerned. I didn't see what the concern was. I was 5, I said, yeah, it's a mountain lion track, yeah, it's a. So we casually walk to the ruins. And we get around the corner, and I kept telling Mom, there's nothing to be afraid of, Mom. I got this rock, I got this stick by now, and I'll protect you. Don't worry about it. She wasn't saying, she just had my hand, and we're just casually walking. Now, when we get around the corner, and she sees the mountain lion track, her eyes opened up, and there was fear. I saw Mom with fear, and I'm thinking, what's wrong, Mom? She says, we're getting back home. We're going to tell Jim, because he was what was Jim? He was a state trooper. Jim was a state trooper, and wow, he was a hunter. And she says, we're going to tell Jim, and somebody's going to have to get this lion. I said, what for? What's the big deal? Now she's dragging me with my hand, the same hand where we took a nice little walk. Now I'm getting dragged back home. And she gets on the phone, she talks to Jackie, Jim's wife. We found a mountain lion track. Yeah. And then it was like, now I think she called her husband. He stopped whatever he was doing as a state trooper. He got 2 more of his friends. They got the guns out of wherever they had their guns and rifles. And I'm watching everybody running around like fear. They all had fear. Or not, if it wasn't fear, I saw a great amount of concern. Because that's what Jim said. He says, we can't have these kids out there playing. This is a mountain lion. And that was what Jim said. And so then he says, I'm going to get a couple of the boys and we're going to go hunt that cat. They went out for 3 days. They were tracking this cat for 3 days. They come back 3 days later. And Jim says, that's the most wily cat that I've ever come across, because he's a hunter. He could track and he could hunt. He was always coming back with deer, or usually deer, but he could track anything. He was a tracker. Not as I wasn't a I was a tracker too, but not that positive. So he comes back, and he comes back really dismayed. Him and the guys, they don't come back with the mountain lion. We thought for sure they were going to be able to get that mountain lion. So he comes back, and his whole story was we've gotten cat before. We've gotten cat, but this is a smart one. This is a smart one. Every time we got up close to him, and we were tracking him, he backtracked around us. And by the way, that's dangerous when you have a bear or a mountain lion that's able to know that you're tracking them, and they come back around you. Apparently that means that they're gonna attack you. I didn't know that at that time. I had a rock and a stick. I wasn't afraid of nothing, especially no mountain lion. Come on. So, kids, this is what I'm just saying. Kids, you're 5 years old or wherever you are, at whatever stage, it's better to be concerned and get a grown-up if you find a mountain lion track, okay? So he says, this is what Jim said. He said, we can't do it. No, we can't get this one. It's too wily of a cat. We're going to have to go and get the mountain men of Williams. It sounded pretty cool to me, mountain men. I always wanted to be a mountain man. In fact, maybe I was at one time. So they Flagstaff hired the mountain men of Williams. Now, I don't know how many mountain men there were, but we do recall that there was quite a few of them at that time up in Williams. Somebody could Google me what is the distance between Williams and Flagstaff. I think it's a good 45-minute ride. Yeah. Lo and behold, a week later, the Williams mountain men caught the cat. The mountain lion. They call it the cat. The big cat. And so, you know what we did? Do you know what Flagstaff did in 1959? We had a parade. There was a parade, and it was... I'm kind of thinking there was snow on the ground at that time, so... I'm pretty sure there might have... So it was... Whatever time period it was during that time, it had been snow, and so Flagstaff used to do rolling snowballs and stuff, and making all kinds of stuff. All the college kids would do things with dyes and stuff, and make like Abraham Lincoln. They did houses and homes and everything. So we had that up at the time. Now that I'm recanting this, and there was a parade. And there was cars and everything, but it wasn't a real big parade. It was just like, a big mountain lion in a cage. So when it came up to me, they stopped and they let me look at this mountain lion that apparently everybody knew that I was the guy that found the mountain lion paw print. So I went over to the cage and I looked right at that mountain lion. And you know what he did? Do you know what he did? He snarled and he jumped at me with his big paw. And do you know what I saw? Do you know what I saw, kids? I saw how big that mountain lion was. So, as indestructible as I felt I was at 5 years old, it put me in my place to see I may have needed more than a rock and a stick to take this guy out. I don't know if having no fear would have really done it for me. I guess it would have been my test at 5 to see having no fear with this mountain lion look at me. It might work. It might work. Having no fear and a rock and saying, you are nothing but a scroungy little cat. And then, throw the rock at him with having no fear. I would suggest if you were ever in that position to at least give that a shot rather than and screaming and running, all right? I'm just saying, if you've ever been, God forbid anything like that would happen, but you're gonna have to There ain't nowhere to. You know what you know what I thought when I saw that when he jumped at me like that and the cage was there. I jumped back a little bit and I thought, this guy might have wanted to eat me. So I'm just saying, this is kind of a story that, well, it's true. And I just had to put it out there for you kids to say that, we are indestructible spiritually, but on this little body that we have right now, or big body, wherever you are, um, we are put in our place sometimes. And that's why I say, in all you little kids, all these little episodes that I had in the past, from number one to all the times that I had to deal with bullies, I was able to put them in their place because of the 4 rules that Dad had given me. And that 5th rule that I keep not saying was, the 5th rule was, kids, never ever hit a girl. I just wanted to say that because those four rules, that 5th one I keep forgetting to tell you. I did tell you in that one episode to never hit a girl, but it's very important you kids don't hit girls. That's all. I'm just saying. I just wanted to recant that because it was always the 4 rules, and that 5th one never really popped up as many as the four rules did. That's all I'm saying. So the mountain lion was a story that I had to bring up for you kids because it was a true story, and how important it is, if you do find a mountain lion track, to get home as quickly as possible and to tell your parents about it. And maybe they'll have to get the mountain men out again or something like that. But I just wanted to put that out there for everybody that thinks that they're indestructible, and you really are. It's how we limit ourselves on so many levels, however, wherever stage we are in the game, how much experience we are, and how limiting we're putting whatever it is upon ourselves that may not be necessary. That we do limit ourselves so much. That's all. I know we're getting bombarded with commercials on so many different things, and people listening to the news, how negative it does seem like it does keep going on. It's always been negative ever since 59. I remember Bro coming back screaming, I joined the club, and we're all saying, well, what club is that? And we're sitting down having dinner, and Bro says, I joined the Good News Club. And I don't know how long he stayed in that, but I thought, Good News Club. And then I think, Dad, that's what Dad. I said, Dad, how come all the news is all so negative? Why is it so negative, Dad? And he says, well, I said, Dad, why isn't the Good News Club on TV? Why doesn't the newsreel people have a Good News Club? Why isn't there a new Good News Club? And Dad says, good news doesn't sell like negative news. And that is kind of true, kids. Seems like people want to hear more negative news than positive news, but no, I don't think so. I think we're coming around now to where we're getting tired of negative news. And then you have to ask, out of that negative news, how much of that is really true? How much truth is there? So I guess that's where discernment always comes in, and we have to see, is it both sides, or is it just one side? And that's where we're at right now, kids. It's always going to be up to you to discern whatever you hear, whether it's true or false. And that's how life is. We always get to choose on what we're going to believe, and hopefully we'll have more discernment when we apply what we know to be true, not just take somebody's word for it. See? So that was the story I had for you today. It's a short one. Um, Sorry about the mishap on episode 40, 45A, but at least on 45B, we can say I really enjoyed being here once again with you. And next Sunday, I'm going to have another true story that either happened to me or that's happening around us that may be negative, but it'll be positive by the time Uncle Martin's done with it. So, until we see each other again, aloha and be well.